It's time for the review of the second disc of Crystal Ball. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. There's a whole lot of buzz going on in Prince world right now, and there will be separate videos for those, but I really don't want to stop the momentum that we have when it comes to getting the reviews for Crystal Ball out. Because this is an amazing album, and I really do think that it deserves attention. So here we have the second disc of Crystal Ball, which is a slightly different experience from the first one. It starts off explosive, but overall, this album is actually more low-key, a little bit cooler, a little bit funkier, a little bit groovier than the other two discs, which I believe is awesome to have a box set where each piece of the box set does feel different. Cause like, it might have just been a place for Prince to dump a bunch of songs, but you can tell that he took care in where each song ended up on what disc and what order, and it really does kind of bring you through an experience, even on Crystal Ball, even where he's not actually technically trying to tell any kind of story with it, but each song flows into the next almost seamlessly. And as Prince said, albums still matter. I'm gonna put a link to my video on his statement of albums still matter down in the comments. Go check that out so you kind of understand what I mean by the sequencing of these really being an important aspect of Crystal Ball. And I know in the first disc video I made jokes about how hard it is to get and all of that, but even back in the day, if you weren't in it, you weren't deep in it, you could have missed it. I saw an actual TV commercial for Crystal Ball, but I only saw it once, and then I was like, on a hunt. I needed to see that. I needed to get that album. But you could call 1-800-NEW-FUNK to order the album, or loveforonanother.com also had the ability to order that. But Prince was actually the first person to do a Kickstarter, because guess what he said? He said, here's how you order it, but we're not even going to make the album until 100,000 people have ordered this album. Now, first off, that takes balls, but second off, he needed to ensure that it was going to be worth it monetarily for him to release this collection. And we did not disappoint. We definitely ordered it, otherwise we wouldn't have it in our hands today. And considering just how well Crystal Ball did on the charts, with no singles, and you had to buy it directly from Prince, I think that says a lot for Crystal Ball. So with all of that in mind, let's jump into the review.
Tell me what to do and I'll do it. I don't care just as long as we get to it. Up and down, around and all through it. Baby, 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 let's do it.
So the first song is interactive. It was recorded in 1993. In the CD booklet that came along with Crystal Ball, it's noted that this song was replaced by Endorphin Machine on the Gold Experience, because Prince actually thought of having them both together at the beginning, but decided against it. Apparently, he did not think that they went well together. And I find that really interesting, because he performed them live together all the time. I saw it on at least 2 or 3 different occasions. He also had those two songs together in the original configuration for Come, so he had been playing around with those two songs being together, but in the end he's like, I like Endorphin Machine a little bit better than Interactive, and you know, if I have to pick one, I'm gonna throw this one on here. It's about the continued domination of thought police, trying to tell you how to live, trying to tell you what to do, and that the more engaged that you are with those people and peer pressure and societal pressure, the harder it is to be yourself. I like this song. It really does start disc 2 off with an explosion. Are you ready?
Like a puppet on a string, I'm gonna dance and I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna do most anything if you promise me to bang, bang, bang.
The second song is Dabangg. It was recorded in 1995. The liner notes say it's a cool little track about no one. And also that he recorded it and mixed it in one day, and then drove around town and played it back to back about 32 times. He knew he was cool. I actually dig the song a lot for the same reasons that I dig this disc, because it is kind of a cool, laid-back thing, and then it erupts during the chorus, only to go right back to its cool groove in the verses. It was supposed to be included on a project called Playtime with Versace that never really saw the light of day, but I'm happy that it did find a release here. Track 3 is Calhoun Square, recorded in 1993. It's a song about the MPG store that was in Uptown, and it was in a place actually called Calhoun Square in Minneapolis. Here's a picture of me in Calhoun Square. Michael B., Sonny T., and Tommy Barbarella are on this track, and obviously that's the reason why this one ended up on my top 10 funky songs list. Definitely go check out that video. It was actually really cool when I was doing my research for Crystal Ball that I found out that this song was recorded in the same session that they recorded Undertaker, which I've also done a review for. And you know what? It's interesting, like going back and listening to it, I'm like, wow, I can totally hear it. Like, it's from the same session. I don't know why it wasn't just included. But it has that same raw awesomeness to it that Undertaker had. And it's the type of song that Prince always liked to put out. One of those, this is where we're at. Come here if you want to be accepted, if you want to be yourself. I love those sorts of songs, and Calhoun Square is a good example of that.
Tell me what's mine. Tell me what's mine. What's my name?
Next track is What's My Name? Also recorded in 1993. And apparently this song was written because there were a whole lot of acts who were coming up and either trying to be like Prince, or they even might have had Prince in their names. And Prince was like, no. I know I don't have my name right now. You can take my name. I don't need it. But I just want to remind you who I am. So what's my name? Probably one of the funkiest songs on all of Crystal Ball. But it also mixes in some record scratching and some police sirens during the chorus. It really kind of gives it a little bit more of a hip-hop feel. And as good as it is in the studio version, I honestly thought I would never hear it live until when he was touring with Third Eye Girl, he revived this song and made it part of his regular set list. There's even a video out there of him performing this song with Kendrick Lamar, which kind of went viral when it first came out. Oh my gosh. So yeah, honestly, this song is really, really cool. Then we get into Crucial, which was recorded in 1986. It was originally intended for Sign of the Times, but ended up being replaced with Adore. Good move on your part, Prince. Everything on the track is by Prince, so just him. And what's funny is that I always listened to this and I always thought, man, this song would be really cool with a sax, like Eric Leeds on there. I thought it would be really, really nice to have him on there. And then doing my research for this review, apparently there was an original version of this that had Eric Leeds on sax. And when Prince heard it, he said, nah, I think I'm just gonna put a guitar in there instead. So he scrapped the sax and the rest is history. But I really dig this ballad, and it basically starts us off on the second half of this album, except for the last track, where we're gonna have a lot of those 80s songs kind of in a row.
I want to be an honest man.
The next track is An Honest Man, recorded in 1985. And this is Prince singing the poem from Under the Cherry Moon, from that one iconic scene. And I remember watching that scene of Mary sitting up in the bed and reading the letter and Prince voice-overing the letter. And I was always like, man, like, the lyrics are so cool. I bet that would really sound cool if we could hear him sing that instead. And the music in the background while she's reading the letter, it is basically An Honest Man, but with a little bit of different orchestration, because the version in the movie is a whole long piece, much longer than what this actual track is. But you can tell it was obviously inspired by For You. It's Prince doing a cappella over a little bit of orchestration. I really dug it, but it does kind of come and go very fast.
People gon' talk sexual suicide.
Then we get to Sexual Suicide, recorded in 1985. And the liner notes say that Sheila E. showed Prince how to do this beat. And then he goes, whoa, that's really cool. And then he picked up his drumsticks, hit record, and then he just started the song. So Sheila E. didn't actually get credit on the song because technically she wasn't on the track. But she was the one that kind of showed Prince this really cool beat, and then he replicated it. and this was apparently recorded in the same session as Girls and Boys, and in the same week as Superfunkicalifragisexy, so it's got some like legacy there, and maybe that's why it's just so good and so funky. The notes say either Wendy or Susanna are on the background vocals. I think it's so funny that he's like, I don't even remember. But Eric Leeds is on this one. His sax wasn't scrapped on this track. The song was supposed to be on Dream Factory, but it was even removed from a configuration of Dream Factory before that entire project was put aside. And again, I'm going to harp again on the fact that Prince would never put something out if it wasn't done. That's just how he was, and if it didn't feel right, if it wasn't done, then it had to wait. But again, that's what Crystal Ball was for, to finally be able to get these tracks that never really found a home. This is like, Crystal Ball was pretty much like Prince's personal like orphanage for all of his children that never found homes.
Is dedicated my first wife. The name is Cloreen. She just fat.
Next track is Chlorine Bacon Skin, recorded in 1983. And the liner notes actually reveal something very cool about this song. While Prince and Morris were working on the Second Time album, Prince would often go into his alter ego voice, his Morris Day, but like his pimp voice, you know, his that voice. And he would just slip in and out of that during practice. And that's exactly what Chlorine Bacon Skin is. It's an extended practice session, kind of giving us a glimpse into what recording with Prince is like. And I love that. Prince is minimalist on the bass, just playing a bonk every so often, and that was basically to help Morris get into the pocket of the beat that they're working on. So the drums are super important here, the bass kind of takes a back seat, but it literally is just Prince and Morris practicing, having fun, and you can feel that in the track. And it's become a friend favorite. A lot of you all are saying like, Chlorine Bacon Skin is the epitome of funk and it's the best track on all of Crystal Ball. And I can see where you guys are coming from with that, because this style of recording became the template for songs like Irresistible Bitch and some of the stuff that he did as Joey Coco. But for me, it was just a super fun track, not necessarily the best stuff that he's ever released. The penultimate song on this album is Good Love, recorded in 1986. And it was recorded right after disbanding the Revolution, and Prince went to LA to record Shockadelica, Fill You Up, and parts of the Black Album were all recorded at the same time as Good Love. This song ended up on a movie soundtrack and was the first time that Prince ever put an unreleased song on a movie soundtrack. The movie was called Bright Lights, Big City, and I've never seen it. I might actually go and try and track it down now. But the version here on Crystal Ball is apparently a little bit different. He took out a couple of sections and extended the ending, so it is a little bit different from even that version, so I kind of need to now go back and listen to that version of Crucial. The keyboards on this song are essentially the heart of it and where the song mostly kind of comes alive. And learning that Susanna Melvoin and Jill Jones both did the backing vocals on this song, I think it really kind of added a little bit of charm to this song. Good Love almost did end up on the Camille album, but we all know the way that that album went. But this is a good song.
Strays of the world. Strays of the world.
And now we get to the finale of Disc 2, Strays of the World, recorded in 1993. The notes say it was originally intended for a Broadway show, which around this time I had heard Prince was working on a Broadway show, a musical. Then he was also working on a symphony and he was working on like a ton of different things, but obviously this musical never happened. Likely due to his marriage and trying to change focus to now trying to be a little bit more of a family man. PrinceVault.com says that the musical in question was supposed to be a Come musical, and Strays of the World was supposed to be the opening and the closing and all that stuff, and that actually makes sense. That would have been cool to see, especially looking at the original configuration of Come. But Strays of the World, with Claire Fisher's expert orchestration on it, makes an excellent final track for any album. So in closing, you've seen how much I've gushed over this disc, and this is actually probably my third favorite out of the 3 Crystal Ball discs, and I think that really just shows you how awesome it all is when this one, filled with so much greatness, is actually my least favorite. And it's for obvious reasons. It has a lot more 80s tracks in a certain order. It's not really broken up as much as some of the others. It's like half 90s, half 80s. The other 2 discs really kind of take care in kind of weaving them in and out of each other, but this one's just like, it's half this and half that. And it is a good flow for these particular songs, but obviously, being a 90s kid, I prefer the 90s stuff, so having this one be heavy 80s was less appealing to me. Doesn't mean it's bad, just means it's less appealing to me personally, but it's all really great. That said, I really do like the fact that this disc is a little bit more laid back than the other 2 discs. It has some great material on it that really lived up to the essence of what Crystal Ball was supposed to be. A celebration, a place for us not only to get unreleased songs, but also songs that were really just kind of hard to get. And with Chlorine Bacon Skin, we even get a glimpse behind the veil that is the creation process. Very, very awesome. I want to know what you guys think of Disc 2. Let me know about that down in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you always know when Prince's Friend releases a new video. Also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/princesfriend. That is so instrumental, and I want to take a moment really just to kind of thank every single one of my patrons. You all make this all possible for Prince's Friend to continue going. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you want to help support the channel, the Patreon is the fastest, most expedient way to do so. Definitely go check out patreon.com/princesfriend. And with all of that said, thank you so much for coming and watching this review. May you live to see the dawn. I love you all.
Tell me you love me, know that it's real. I can see more, see how you feel. Look in my eyes, do you realize what is the truth? You're surprised, I despise whatever's right, you're the wrong. This is my life, this is of you, this is of me, this is the truth, this is of we, this is the love, this is God, this is yours, this is ours. Look in my eyes, tell me you want me, tell me you see me. I know you hunt me, I know you love me, I know the truth, I know the real. I speak it in you, I speak it in us, I speak it in we, I speak it in God, I speak it in free. You know who we be, you know that it's life. I know when you're wrong, I know when you're right. You look in my eyes, I know you're surprised. You tell me the truth, I know you despise. Oh!
Take this mic. I can't sing. It only makes me wish for the way things used to be. You could slap my face, but I got to say it. You never would have drank my coffee if I wouldn't served you cream. Tell me what's my name. Tell me what's my name. Tell me what's my name. Tell me what's my